Hello all and welcome to ManageEngine's Mobile Device Manager Plus training. My name is Naveen and I would be taking you to the product. So please confirm on the chat if you're able to hear my voice and view the presentation on your screen. I'm awaiting your confirmation on the chat. Okay, thank you for confirming. Now let's take a look at our training schedule. Today, we'll start off with app management and device security. And tomorrow, we would be looking into device enrollment and device provisioning. It would be the same time at 1100 hours, 30 minutes EDT. Here is our training agenda for today. First, we will have a brief overview of the Mobile Device Manager Plus product, where we will take a look at the architecture, how the MDM is available, and the OS versions that are supported. Mobile devices predominantly use application. Hence, application management is key. Today, we would discuss on end-to-end app management and how MDM can lock down a device to run only specific apps in it. The applications that we manage will have sensitive corporate data. This data has to be secured. MDM provides a wide list of security features ranging from device tracking to securing the data on lost or misplaced devices. Hailing from an MDM tech support background, I have handpicked a few scenarios in reference with the above mentioned topics, along with some questions that were asked during the previous training sessions. So let's get started with our first topic for the day, which is the overview of the Mobile Device Manager Plus. MDM supports the well-known operating system like Apple's iOS, Android, as well as our Windows 10 laptops and mobile devices. Earlier this year, we also introduced our support to Chromebook OS as well. Now, how is the MDM solution available? First, it is available as a standalone solution that is supported both in the on-premise as well as the cloud platform. And it is also available as an add-on with our flagship product, Desktop Central, which is used to manage legacy computers, thereby completing a unified endpoint management solution. So this would be the MDM Mobile Device Manager Plus architecture. We have adopted a universal architecture which comprises of three main components: the mobile devices that are owned by you, MDM service that is provided by us, and the notification services that are maintained by the device vendors. The notification services would be the Apple push notification service for your iOS devices, Google's Firebase cloud messaging for your Android devices, and the Windows notification services for your Windows devices. As far as the communication goes, the MDM server leverages on the notification services in order to wake up your mobile devices. The mobile devices in turn gets in touch with the server directly. As mobile devices are always on the go, MDM service has to be exposed to the internet if you're using the on-premise edition in order to maintain a constant device contact. As a security measure, we have provided you with a secure gateway add-on which forwards the request from your mobile devices to the MDM server, thereby securing it from any external threats. You can also integrate your Active Directory services for device authentication and assignment purposes. Now, for the ports that are used by the Mobile Device Manager. So, from the device to the Mobile Device Manager Plus server, for your on-premise, you would have to enable the 9383 port. From the Mobile Device Manager Plus to your notification services, the port 443 has to be opened. And from the devices to the notification services, or vice versa, the ports 5223 for iOS, 5228 to 5230 for your Android devices have to be opened. Now, we have seen the architecture of the MDM product, but how are the devices managed? Well, for your iOS devices, we use the native client that comes in with it. It is the same for the Windows devices as well, but in case of the Android, we would deploy the MDM app to the devices which would manage your mobile devices. Now, let's take a quick look at the MDM product itself. So this is how the MDM service would look like. You have tabs ranging from the home to the support. The home tab is where you have certain predefined details of the devices that are enrolled, like the device type, platform summary, the BYOD summary, as well as the app summary. Device management tab is where you perform various actions like configuration, app management, remote control. So you could say this is the powerhouse of the MDM solution. Inventory is where we hold the data or the asset details of your mobile devices. You can also track the location of your mobile devices from the inventory tab. Enrollment is also an important tab under the MDM solution, as any device would have to go through an enrollment process in order to manage it, which we would be discussing in detail in tomorrow's session. We also have the reports tab to pull out predefined reports or create custom reports as per your needs. And these reports can also be scheduled. And at last, we have the admin tab where you have all the basic settings that any admin would require to set up the Mobile Device Manager Plus. And we also have the support tab over here where you can engage in our community forums or blogs, or also raise feature requests to us or raise support tickets if you have any difficulties with the product. Now, let's dive into our first topic, which is app management. The MDM app management deals with installing, removing, and managing the updates for your installed application. So we have an app repository over here, which holds all the applications that you require to be managed by the MDM solution. This app repository can host store applications that are fetched from the store services, or enterprise applications that are specifically designed for your company alone. If you deploy an application from the app repository for the store applications, we would leverage on the store services to get them installed in the mobile devices. Else, if it's an enterprise application, we would initiate the installation from the MDM server. Now, let's take a look at how app management works. One of my employees have come up to me and asked if I can deploy an Apple Store application to them. So let's see how we can deploy an application over to my employee's device. So I head to the device management tab. I come down to app repository. So this is where we hold all our applications. Here, I would have to push down an iOS Play Store application over to my employee. So I click on Add App over here. I go to Apple Store app. And now the application that I want to distribute out is the Zoho Creator. So I search for the Zoho Creator app, and please make sure that you enable the Play Store service to be accepted through your firewall so that we can get the immediate results from them as well. We have the Zoho Creator over here. You can click on this app. We would automatically fetch the bundle identifier and App Store ID. If you're not based from the United States, you can always click on the change region option over here and change your country from wherever you are located from. So this would give you the live updates that the app developers might have developed for your country alone. Scrolling down, we have a few app policies that can be configured before we deploy your applications, where we can remove the app if the MDM profile is removed, wherein if the device is deprovisioned, we would remove the application itself, and we can also restrict the backup of the app data into the iTunes or the iCloud, thereby securing your details with the MDM mobile device itself. At the end, we also have app configurations where you can manage the functionalities and capabilities of an application by uploading the configuration file that is provided by the app developer itself. So your users do not have to give in the regular values. It will all be pre-configured when we deploy the application. Once it is done, you can click on Save, and then the application will be listed out over here. So we have the Zoho Creator app. So once you have made sure that the app is added in the app repository, you can go to the Groups and Devices page. Here we have all the groups and devices listed out. So I go to Devices, and I select on the particular mobile device that requires the Zoho Creator application. I click on Actions over here, Distribute Apps, and now I have a dialog box open with all the available applications for me to deploy to my employee's device. I choose on Zoho Creator, and I have two options over here. One, to go for a manual installation from the app catalog. Another is the silent installation option. The silent installation option is where we would automatically deploy your applications, which we would be discussing in about a few minutes from now. Once I have chosen the installation type, I hit on Select, and the Zoho Creator application has been pushed to my employee's device. Now let's see what happens on the device end. So my employee now has to open the MDM app, navigate to the app catalog. The Zoho Creator application would be waiting for the installation process to start. When he clicks on Install, automatically they would be asked to sign in to the iTunes Store. Once they give in their credentials, the app installation would start and the app would be installed in the mobile device. Well, this is the manual installation process, and it seems pretty simple and standard. Every device must be provisioned with an iTunes account, and the user intervention is required in order to complete the app installation itself. What if my users are not technical? And what if I have to distribute the same application to, say, 500 or 1,000 devices? I would not know if my employees would have an iTunes account to start with. Well, how can I tackle this situation? There comes the automate app installation processes. For our iOS devices, we use the Apple Business Manager, and for our Android devices, we use the Play for Work solution. So what are the benefits in configuring the Android for Work or the Apple Business Manager portal? First, you can build your own enterprise app repository, which contains selected and IT-approved applications. They can be enterprise or in-house store applications that you would require to push to your mobile devices. And the best part here is that you can restrict your users from installing any other applications from the Play Store or the App Store services. Let's take a look at Apple's Business Manager program. So Apple Business Manager program allows us to whitelist or approve applications that are required for your organization. You can manage the licenses that can be applied to your devices and can be revoked at any point of time. We can also control the app updates so that your users get the latest app update from time in and time out. So before we go ahead and configure the Apple Business Manager with the MDM solution, there are some prerequisites that have to be met with. First, you would have to create an account with Apple Business Manager, and then your devices must be supervised. Supervision is a process that comes with the device enrollment, which we will be dealing in detail in tomorrow's session. Once you have got your Apple Business Manager account, you would then have to integrate the ABM service with the MDM server over here, purchase any paid applications, or approve any free applications that you would like from the ABM portal. Once the applications are approved, you can then distribute them from the app repository to your mobile devices, and the apps get instantly installed in your devices without the need to have a user intervention. So let's see how the Apple Business Manager works. So here I have the app repository. I go down to Apple VPP distribution, And as you can see, I already have an account set up. So let me take you to another portal. So over here, this is how the page would look like before you integrate your ABM service with the MDM. So I click for Configure Apps for Business, and I see that the proxy service has not been set up. So it is, a must to set up your proxy service in order to secure your server communication. I'm sorry, guys, that I have disappointed you, but I can take you back to the service. So once you click on that particular link, you would be asked to upload an S token. So let's see where we can get the S token from. So I go to the Apple Business Manager portal. I click on the settings over here. And as you can see, for every server that you have, you can download an S token, which is also called as a server token. So this is the file that would be integrating the MDM service with the Apple Business Manager. So once you download the server token, you would have to upload it there in the portal as well. Then you can give in an email address of your IT admin so that you can replace the token once every year. Once I have added the server token, it would look quite similar to this, but we would have to now approve applications in order for them to be deployed to the devices. Now let's see where we can go and approve these applications. In the same Apple Business Manager portal, I can go for apps and books over here and search for a particular application. I'm going to search for Zoho CRM. The app would pop up, and here you can see that the application is device assignable. It has certain features and improvements when it is a device assignable app. Once I get to the app page, I can notify the quantity of the licenses that I can purchase or approve from the Apple Business Manager portal. Once that is done, I can come down to the apps page over here and then sync the applications immediately so that I get the latest version from the App Store itself. So what is the use of going through a manual sync is that once you approve an application, it would automatically get posted to your app repository. Else, we would do a regular or a scheduled sync every day, and that would also fetch the app updates from the App Store services. Once the application is listed, I can come down and search for the application. Since there is a lot of applications over here, I can use the filtering methods as well. So I go down to app type, I choose Apple Store app, and I come down and I find the Zoho CRM. So if I choose on Zoho CRM application, I would be able to see all the details like the distributed devices, the license that I have purchased, and the available license that I can distribute to my mobile devices as well. I would go back to the groups and devices, confirming that the app is in the app repository, head to the device page, click on a particular user's device, hit on actions, and then distribute the application. This time, I can mark the silent installation and go ahead with the installation process. On the device, the app would automatically start to install. So the user would not be entering his or her credentials, and there's no user intervention at all. The app is now installed in the mobile device. As a recommendation, we always tell our customers to ensure that the device is connected to a Wi-Fi service when they are distributing large applications, basically applications that are above 150 MB, so that the App Store services can push down the application over to your devices. Now, we have discussed in detail how you can deploy applications silently, but how do we control the app updates, and why is it necessary? Well, app updates would have certain patching for existing security issues. They can bring about a change in how you use the application, or the updated version of the application might have some security vulnerabilities that the others can use to infiltrate in. So in order to make sure that your devices are running the right services, we provide you with the app update controls. So this app update controls can be done using the Apple ABM service and for the apps that are device assignable. Now let's see how the app management works. So over here, I come down to app repository again. And once I have made a sync, all the applications that are available for update distribution would be present in a banner over here. I click on the number, the app would be listed out. And if I click on this particular application, I would get to know the number of devices it has been distributed to and the number of devices that are expecting an update. Once I have confirmed that this update is good to go, I can hit on update all over here and make sure that all my devices get the latest version of the application. So app updates. So here we are not going device by device, and we can also restrict the users from updating the applications. We can force or silently install critical updates without the user intervention itself. This would conclude Apple's Business Manager program. Now let's head into Google's paperwork, which they have provided for your Android devices. Google Play for Work also requires certain prerequisites that have to go with. First, you would have to create an account with Google Play for Work. Then, your devices must be running Android 5.0 or above versions in order to use the Play for Work service. The Play for Work service is kind of similar to the ABM. First, you would have to integrate the Play for Work with the MDM server, purchase or approve applications from the Play for Work store. Then you would have to distribute these apps to the devices, and the apps would automatically get installed in your mobile devices itself. So let's take a look at how the Android for Work solution would look like in the MDM service. So here I already have an account set up for my company. I go into the other portal, and hopefully this time I'm not hit with the message. So I come down to configure Android for Work, and here you have two options. Either you can go with register using G Suite, or you can go with register without G Suite. So if you have a G Suite account, I would encourage you to use the registration with the G Suite itself, or you can use your own corporate email ID or Gmail address to register for the Without G Suite program. So once I click on the register without G Suite, I would be taken to the Android for Work page. I click on sign in. I give my IT details. I would click on get started. Now I would have to provide the organization name and also go through the terms and conditions that Google has for us. Once I confirm this, the registration would be complete, and you would have a setup similar to this with the domain account that you have mentioned. Now it's time for approving the applications that needs to be distributed to the mobile devices. For that, you go to the Play for Work store. You have the search option over here to search for any application you'd like. I would go with the Zoho CRM. Once I search for Zoho CRM, I have the application with me. I can click on the application, hit on approve, and as part of the organization, I can approve the permissions that this app would require. Once I approve the permissions, the app would be mentioned over here in the app repository. And for that, I would have to make a manual sync now. So this makes sure that all my applications that I have approved recently would be mentioned over here. Else, these apps would be mentioned in the app repository during the daily scan. So all I have to do now is filter for my particular application. I see the Zoho CRM app over here. As you can see, the CRM application is available. I do have other applications that are added through the Android for Work solution. I can go for Zoho Mail here as well. I have the app details, the app distribution status, configurations that the app developer provides, and also I do have the permission control with me. So if I'd like a particular app to not have permission to the contacts or the SMS, then that comes in the mobile device, I can automatically make that change and save it. This would affect all the devices that have this particular application distributed through the MDM service. Once I'm done with the configuration, I can go back to groups and devices, click on a particular group if required, or a selected device. Once I have selected a device, I can go to Actions, Distribute Application, and here I can search for my application using the filters that we have provided, or I can search for my mail application over here. I click on Install silently, and when I hit on Select, the app would automatically start installing in my mobile devices. The app would then be moved to a container. So a container is created in your BYOD devices, or in other words, personal devices. And this feature would also be discussed on tomorrow's session. And as you can see, any permission that was made or changed for the particular application under the app repository would also be listed out over here. Now, we have successfully deployed app updates, applications itself from the Play Store services. What about your in-house applications? Enterprise applications are an integral part in today's world. Every company now comes up with their own enterprise application that they would want to push out to their users. And how can we silently install these enterprise applications as well? Well, MDM has a solution for that, but for this to occur, your iOS devices must be supervised, and for your Android devices, they either have to be Samsung devices or devices that are provisioned as device owner. These terms might seem new to you, but it would be discussed on tomorrow's session. So I would encourage you to use, or to join in tomorrow's session to get to know more. Also, I would like to take this opportunity to raise that if you have any questions regarding the topics that were covered, you can use the chat option. I have an expert panel waiting right beside me who would answer all your questions. Now, let's go with how you can add an enterprise application. So I come down to App Repository over here. I go to Add App. I would like to add an Android Enterprise application. So I click on Android Enterprise application over here. I would be navigated to the particular screen. Here, I would have to upload or drop the APK. So I would first add the Z delivery application over here. We would start to fetch all the minimum app details that we require. So as you can see, the bundle identifier and the app version are fetched. I can give a meaningful name for my application, and I can also select the category the application falls under, as well as the supported devices. You can also upload an image so that when your application gets deployed, it would have that image as the icon. If I'd like to make a change, or if I'd like to update my application just like the Play Store applications, I can click on Choose File over here again. I will click on the Z Delivery app, and if I click on Open, then we would get the updated details from the new APK. And as you can see over here, the bundle identifier would remain the same, but the app version has changed to 2.0. Once I have made all the configuration changes, I can hit on Save, and automatically the app would be added over here. So this is the Z Delivery app. And if you'd like to make an update after this, probably 3.0 or 4.0, you can go with the Modify App change over here. Once I have confirmed that my app is in the app repository, I can move to the Groups and Devices page. I can select a particular group or the device itself. And then I can hit on Action, Distribute Apps, and distribute the enterprise application that I have made available for my devices. This application or this device already has the application. That is why it was not installed or showed in the available apps section. Now that I have confirmed my application has been deployed, we would now take a look at how you can restrict your users' movements within the device itself, where we whitelist only specific apps to be present on your corporate devices. So this is where we bring in our kiosk mode feature. So using the kiosk mode, you can either provision the device to run only a single application or multiple applications if it suits the case. We can also configure the device settings where you can restrict the users to access the settings app itself, thereby only the configurations that you have sent would be applied in your mobile devices. I would now take you through a scenario which involves a manager and a driver. The manager has a single app kiosk mode device where he can assign the trips to the drivers, and the drivers who are driving trucks all around the country would use two applications. The one application for the trips that get assigned to them, and the other application for navigation purposes. So let's see how we can achieve this using the MDM solution. So I go back to the MDM service. I hit on profiles. So profiles are an integral part, and here is where we create all the configurations or policies that needs to be deployed. I create an Android profile. I would give it a meaningful name. And when I hit on continue, you would have a list of the configurations or the payloads that can be distributed out to your mobile devices. For now, we will be focusing on the kiosk mode. For my supervisor's device, I would only like to have the single app kiosk mode running. So I would just specify the name of the device itself. So it would be the Z Delivery app. I choose the particular application, and only this application would be running in my supervisor's device. And I can also hit on save and then publish this particular profile, and it can then be associated. I would also like to take this opportunity to show you how you can configure the multi-app kiosk mode as well. So it's just the radio button away. I hit on multi-app kiosk mode. I would select the particular delivery application for the trips that are to be assigned. And then I would also require a navigation application, which would be the maps. So now I have the Z Delivery application as well as the maps. I can hit on save and publish this profile. Once this profile has been successfully published, I can go to the groups and devices pane. I can come down to drivers group. I can hit on actions, associate profile, and then I can create or distribute the published profile itself. So it would be my profile 870. I would hit on the number over here, hit on select, and automatically the profile that we have now configured would be associated with the mobile devices. Let's take a look at how the devices would be when they are in kiosk mode. As far as my supervisor's device, he would be viewing only this application. So there is no navigation. He would only be able to view the shipment details that are present over there. As far as my driver goes to, he would have access to two applications. Basically, the Z Delivery application that we have deployed, as well as the Google Maps. Now, my supervisor comes up to me and says, Naveen, I would like to take a look at where the devices have gone, and I would like to make sure whether the drivers have dropped off the packages in the right location. So how can I use the MDM solution to go about getting the details that my supervisor requires? Well, I can use the inventory tab over here. So this contains all the asset details, and my supervisor would like the details of the mobile device, whether it has traveled from one location to the other. So for that, I go to location data over here. We would display all the devices that are enrolled with the MDM solution. It can be within one country or across continents as well. So I go and choose this particular device that belongs with Todd. I click on location history over here, and automatically I would start to fetch the latest location details. As you can see, I can also go through his previous location history, and I can pull it out in a form of a CSV file. It can also track for up to 30 days. So once I pull this out in a form of a CSV file. I can then give it to my supervisor who can cross-reference and cross-check it with his shipping manifest. And for this to work, you would first have to configure your geo-tracking settings. So under inventory settings, we have the geo-tracking settings for you. So here you can make sure that you track your devices always. When lost is a feature where we would lock down your device, which I would be discussing towards the end of this session. For now, we can choose always, apply the geo-tracking for all the devices or a selected group if needed. And then I can also enable the collection of the location history. So this is key from my end because I would like to know, or my supervisor would like to know, if the driver has moved from the one location to the other, and thereby we can make sure and cross-reference it with our shipping manifest. So now I have made my supervisor happy, and I get into another trouble. So Todd, who is my driver, calls up one day and say, mate, your application is not working. I'm not able to open the Google Maps, and I'm not able to, go around with my shipping manifest. So how can I confirm that the app is running perfectly or not? Well, I would have to take a remote of the device to be, to be able to see if there's any changes or anything that I can do as an administrator and make his device work again. Because Todd might know how to go around the Android device, but he would not know all the small intricacies that come with it. So here I would like to take a remote of the device that is outside of my company network. So how do I go about that? Well, using the MDM solution, you can go to Inventory, Devices. It's Todd who called me up. So I go to Todd's device. I have the actions over here. I can now click on Remote Control. So this would automatically start a remote session with my mobile device. So we use the Zoho Assist, which is our sister platform, and it is free of cost when used within the MDM solution. As you can see over here, the support session has started. And now I would just like to take a look at the logs that were generated by my application. But how do I go about removing the kiosk mode? We have an inbuilt chat feature that you can use to run commands. So here I would like to exit the kiosk mode first. So I type in /exit-kiosk. The kiosk mode would now be disabled in the mobile device. So I have access to the entire mobile device itself. I can move through and navigate to any other app that I like. So if I click on settings over here, it would automatically open the settings app. If I like to go back, I can just hit on the back button over here. So it would take me to the home screen. Now I have solved all the issues that Todd had mentioned, and I would like to enable the kiosk mode again. So I hit on the chat, I enter enable-kiosk or enter-kiosk. Now the kiosk mode would automatically come up in the mobile device itself. Well, the magic has happened, and the device is now locked down in the kiosk mode. You can also close the session now, and Todd is off dropping his deliveries. So now we have distributed kiosk profiles. We have seen how we can track mobile devices, and we have also seen how we can remotely control your mobile devices as well. If you have any questions regarding this, you can always raise it in the chat option so that my expert panel can answer those questions as well. Now let's take a little detour of your corporate devices and go in on how you can protect data breaches and also ensure that your devices are compliant with the policies when you have personal devices mixed up in the MDM solution. So personal devices always have the opportunity to distribute your documents, data between the devices through the AirDrop, Wi-Fi, or the Bluetooth services. The end user can also upload documents to third-party cloud storage services like Dropbox or G Drive, or the corporate applications would have content contact with the personal applications itself. So they can distribute or upload documents to social media websites where your company details are not safe. So how can MDM help you in order to prevent this? We bring in the containerization feature over here. Here we lock down your corporate applications in a secluded space while the user has their privacy in their personal space for their personal applications. When it comes to Android devices, the OS itself creates an encrypted container where all your applications would be deployed to. So this is how the work apps would look like. They would have a small badge icon on them, and the content or the data that is present within these applications would be safe and cannot be distributed to any other personal application. But when it comes to iOS, that's when the trick starts, because iOS does not support a containerization feature. So the personal applications would be in the same page of the corporate apps as well. So now I have an email set up in my mobile device. So if I'm going to open a particular document or a video file or a JPEG file, anything, all my applications would want a piece of it. So it can be my personal applications like Dropbox or iBook, or the AirDrop itself, or my corporate applications like Office 365 or the MDM application. Here, I would like to restrict the document to be viewed only by my managed applications. So how do I go about that? Well, for your Android devices, you would have to create a profile. So I'd come down to profiles over here. I'll click on create profile. I would hit on Apple. So I would give a meaningful name for my profile. I click on continue, and all the payloads that are available for my Apple devices would be listed out in the left column. I would go to restrictions, and here is where the fun starts. I can go about restricting the camera, screenshots, and screen recording so that they can't take screenshots and share it over. I go down to security. I can share the data transaction between my managed and my unmanaged applications, and also the vice versa. I can also restrict my users from wiping the entire device itself so that both their personal as well as their corporate data are not lost. Under advanced security, I can also make sure that I can prevent my users from adding an iCloud or a mail account so that they would not be able to share the documents over to another account itself. Under network and roaming, I can also make sure that the Bluetooth is turned off at all times. And I can also enforce an additional restriction where the devices would only get connected to a specific Wi-Fi service that has been distributed by the MDM server over here using the policies. Once I have made the particular changes, I can hit on save and then publish this profile. The profile has now been successfully published. I can go back to the groups and devices page. I can deploy it to a group or to a device itself. So I select a particular group, I hit on actions, associate profile, and then I can search for my profile over here. So it would be the one with 872. I have found the profile, and then I can distribute it to my mobile devices. If I click on select, automatically the profile will be distributed. Now I have made sure that the restrictions are in place. So let's see how the document viewer works. Now when I try to access that particular document, only the Office 365 and the MDM application will be able to view it. The MDM application has an inbuilt document viewer, which also brings us to our next topic, which is the content management feature. The content management feature helps you to distribute documents seamlessly to multiple devices. Users can view or save documents using the MDM app, and we are also bringing an additional change where the document can also be viewed by your managed applications as well. And these documents cannot be accessed by any third-party services thereby making sure they are secure within the management solution itself. Now, let's see how the content management works with a small scenario. A sales representative comes up to me and says that I have to distribute a document over to the team, and that document is important for a sales team. So I go to device management. I move to content management over here. And then now I can click on add. So here I have the opportunity to drag or drop documents. We are experiencing certain difficulties over here. Just give me one moment. Yeah, I hope everyone is able to hear my audio now, and I would like every one of you to comment on the chat as well. I've just got the go signal, so I guess we can get started and go ahead. I would come back to the content management feature again, since some viewers did not have the opportunity to take a look at it. So I'm going back to the content management feature benefits, where we help you to distribute documents seamlessly and securely to multiple devices. These documents can be saved and viewed only using the MDM application. And we are also bringing in a feature where this document or the documents that you distribute can be opened by other managed applications. We can also make sure that these documents cannot be accessed by third-party services. So it can be any personal application that are out there, and they would not have a piece of this document. And we can make sure that your corporate data stays secure. Now I have a scenario where one of my sales team representatives have come up to me and asked me to distribute a confidential document prior to an important client meeting. So let's see how we can use the MDM solution and the content management feature that we provide to distribute the documents. So I go to the device management page. I have the content management feature over here. I click on add, where I can drop any documents that I would like. I hit on click here, and I would now like to upload the sales lead document. So the upload is happening right now. I can add tags for this particular service, and it can be for any service that you like. It can be for the HR team, the technical, and since it is asked for the sales team, I can add the sales team tag over here. Once I have done that, I can click on done, and the app would be updated over here as well. So I have the app here with me. So all I have to do is select this particular document, hit on share, and then all the groups or the devices that are listed out would be displayed in this portal for you. You can go ahead with the group and then distribute this document. Now, my sales team representative comes up to me and says, mate, I have a last minute change and I have changed the document now. Can I make the change in the device as well? So how do I go about that? So I click on modify app over here. I remove the selected document. I click on choose file. I choose the latest version of the document. I hit on open, and automatically when you click on modify, the document would be updated to all the devices itself. Now let's take a look at how the documents will be presented in your mobile devices after we have deployed them or deployed the update to them itself. So step one, your end users, the employee, or in my case, the sales representative, has to open the MDM app. They have to navigate to the document section over here. The document would be provided to them. They can save the document and then view it within the MDM service itself. So we had also gone through the scenario. So if there is any change in the documents, it can be a crucial change. You can just go back to the MDM solution over there, hit on modify, and push out the updated document. Now, we have made sure the devices are running in kiosk. We have updated the documents, but we are missing out on a major chunk, which is the OS updates. Last year, we had some serious attacks on laptops or desktops, but what many people had forgot to see is that those attacks happen on mobile devices as well, specifically on Android and iOS devices that were running outdated OS systems. So how can the MDM solution help you with the OS updates? So before that, we would take a look at the disadvantages of running an outdated OS version. First, you will be missing out on various security patches, which can affect your devices and have them vulnerable to mobile ransomware attacks. And also, older versions tend to get slower in time. I guess you would know which OS version I'm talking about. So what happens when you deploy your updates, the OS updates, simultaneously? So there will be a loss of productivity. Take, for example, today is a Wednesday. You're going to deploy your OS updates at afternoon around 1 p.m. or 2 p.m. Well, that's a critical time, and most of the productivity would take place during that time, and all of it would be lost because your devices are going through an update. The enterprise apps might become incompatible with the latest OS version because we would not know what the manufacturers would pull out. And at the end, there would be bandwidth choking. Well, OS updates do not come in MB or KB, they come in gigabyte sizes. So these are all the pitfalls that you would go through when you deploy the app updates immediately. So let's see how the app updates would work, the OS updates would work for your mobile devices. So I come down to Device Management tab, Automate OS Updates. Here, I would like to create an OS update policy for my Android devices. So I would give a meaningful name for the policy. And here I can choose whether I can deploy this OS immediately to all my mobile devices or delay them for a matter of up to 90 days. I can also notify my users regarding the update. So if my users are working on a critical production line and they do not want to go through an OS update right now, they can always skip on the deployment process so that the OS update would take place sometime later in the day or after a few days. The deployment schedule is also given to you so that you can make use of it and deploy them as per your needs. So you do not want them to be deployed on a weekday, where you can just make the changes over here so that they are deployed only on the weekends. Once you have made the changes to the policy, you can hit on save and the policy would be displayed out over here. You can choose on the particular policy, hit on the distribute option over here, and we would bring out all the groups and the devices that are enrolled with the MDM solution itself. So you can click on a particular group, hit on select, and the policy would be applied for all the devices that are inside that group. So what are the advantages by using this Automate OS Update system? Well, it's a one-time setup, as you have seen. And we have various options for you, whether you'd want to deploy it immediately in a delayed fashion or in a windowed fashion. The users also get notified of the updates so that they can quickly save any details that they're working on, or they can skip the deployment as well. Now, We have brought the devices to the latest version. They have all the documents. It's running in kiosk. Everything sounds good until Todd comes up to me and says he has lost his mobile device. Well, that device now has all the shipping manifest, all the documents that I have distributed out to him, and now I would have to secure the devices since it's lost or stolen. We do not know. And how can the MDM solution help me out with this? So I would quickly rush to the MDM service over here. I would click on inventory. I would go to devices. Now I would have to search for Todd's device. I select Todd's device over here. I would go to actions, and these are all the actions that I can perform on the device. Here, I would enable the loss mode in the mobile device. I can give a contact number so that the person who has taken it, God bless his soul, if he returns it back, he can call to this particular number and hand us over the mobile device. You can also key in a new passcode so that they would not be able to break the passcode if they already know it. And if you're maintaining a ticketing system, you can also give in the ticket ID over here as well. Once I have confirmed all the details, I can hit on locate, which would lock down the entire device in loss mode. Now the device has been marked as lost. So these are all the options that I can perform on the device. I can trigger a remote alarm if the particular device is misplaced within my company premises. I can corporate wipe or fully reduce the device down to stock mode. In certain cases, we would know that the devices would not be coming back to us. So in that case, in order to secure the corporate data from not falling into the wrong hands, I can either corporate wipe the device alone or completely erase the data. If I found the device again, I can hit on modify loss mode and I can stop the loss mode service. So this is just for a test, and I hit on stop loss mode, and automatically the device would come back into the MDM solution again. So this is how the device would look like. It would have the number that we had mentioned over there, and it would also have a small calling feature so that it is programmed to call only that specific number. Well, we had gone through various cases where we had seen how we can lock down a device using kiosk, control app updates, OS updates, documents, as well as securing your devices if they are lost. Now, let's go through a few scenarios and the solutions that I can provide you in order to tackle these as well. So for the first scenario, is there a way by which we can remove apps that are already available in the mobile devices itself? So note that these apps are not installed using the MDM service. Well, that can be done. So I go down to the inventory page over here. I go to apps, and here I have the option to blacklist or whitelist any application that I like. So to confirm that, I go to settings. I'd have to mark the settings that I can collect the pre-installed apps that come with the OS, user installed, as well as the ones that are distributed by MDM. I can also set on the blacklist settings where I would want to uninstall it immediately from my user's mobile device. I hit on save, and automatically these settings would be saved. I come back to the discovered applications, and I can choose on any application that I like. So I choose on Zomato, hit blacklist, and here I can specify whether this blacklist has to work for all the devices or only a specific group. So I'd like this app to be removed from all the devices, and I hit on blacklist. Now this app has been successfully blacklisted on all my mobile devices that has been enrolled with the MDM solution. So I go down to scenario 2. My organization has allowed all my employees to have unlimited access to the internet, but I would like to restrict a few websites without affecting their normal internet activity. So how do I go about that? So I go back to the MDM service again. I go to device management, profiles, and I choose an Apple profile. As usual, I'd have to give it a meaningful name. I click on continue, and here I have the opportunity to configure the web content filter. So here I can blacklist certain URLs So it can be the YouTube. And now the users would not be able to access the YouTube URL using your Safari apps. So this is how we go about blacklisting URLs. If you'd like to add more URLs, you can just click on this plus sign over here to add more URLs that you'd like to blacklist. Now, for scenario 3, my workforce extensively uses mobiles. So how can we secure them using certificates? So server device communication is key when you are using a mobile force only. So it is important to distribute certificates to your mobile devices. So using the profiles that I've added over here, I do not want to add another URL, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to save it. I go down to certificate option over here. I can add a common certificate that can be used by all my devices. So I already have a certificate uploaded. I choose GeoTrust Global CA, which is the certificate that I have added. And this certificate can now be distributed to my mobile devices. But what if I would want to go with a more focused and a user-based certificate configuration? In that case, I would go with my SCP, where I would have to give my CA server details, and each device to whom I have associated or applied this profile to would get the certificates assigned to them. So that is how I go about distributing, user-based certificates or common certificates to my mobile devices. And for the last scenario 4, I would like to make sure all the device communication goes through a particular proxy service. Well, in the same tab, under the same profile configurations, we have the global HTTP proxy. So this is where you give in your proxy server details and the port number through which the device communication has to go through. So this is the proxy service that you would set up in your edge network. Once I have completed all, I can hit on save. I do not have a server name right now, so I can go ahead and publish this profile. Once I have confirmed that this profile has been published, I go back to the groups and devices page, hit on a particular group, and then associate the profile that I've just created now. Now let's take a look at the questions that were raised in the previous sessions. So one of my employees has now forgotten the passcode in their mobile device. So how can MDM help me through it? Well, Todd comes up to me and says that he has now forgotten the password that I had reset for him when he had lost his mobile device. Well, I go down to the inventory page again. I choose on Todd's device. I come down to action, and I have various options that I can perform. Here, I can either go with clearing the passcode in the mobile device so Todd can set one up himself, or I can reset the passcode for him and provide him with the passcode details. Now, my company is a logistics company, so we would have to have tracking purposes. So how can I make sure that my drivers do not disable the location services in their mobile devices? So Todd might get sneaky and he might try to turn off the location services because he feels he doesn't want to deliver any packages today. So how can I make sure that the location services always are turned on? So I go back to the MDM service. I go to device management, profiles. I create an Android profile for Todd's device. I continue. I hit on restrictions over here, and under location settings, I can turn on the location services. So this will make sure that my location services are always turned on in the mobile device. I hit on save. I publish this profile, and then I distribute it out to Todd's device so that that device cannot go offline or cannot go without us having the mobile device track it. So I would go down to question number 3, where I would like to share the contact details or the calendar events to my iOS devices. So how can this be done? I go back to the groups and devices, device management page. I come down to profiles. I create an Apple profile for my devices. I click on continue over here. And on the left pane, we have all the configuration policies out for you. So we have contacts, calendar, LDAP, and the calendar sync over here. So you mention the necessary details, And once you save and publish this profile, automatically we would fetch the calendar details for your mobile devices also. Now, I would only like to ensure that IT approved applications are installed on the device and also make sure that these applications are not removed by my users. Is that possible? Well, yes. Using the profiles option, I come down to restrictions over here. Applications, I can make sure that my users install only approved applications, and I can also make sure that my users do not delete any applications that I deploy to them to their mobile devices. And for the last question, I would like to make sure that my employees' device are connected to a secure Wi-Fi network alone, which is distributed by the MDM service. Well, to achieve this, you can come down to the Wi-Fi services over here. You have to create a Wi-Fi payload, which is present for your company premises, save it, and then go back to the restrictions. Here, under network and roaming, I would have to make sure that this option, connect to Wi-Fi only distributed via MDM, is enabled. This makes sure that all the devices stay connected only to the Wi-Fi service that I have distributed. So this brings us to the end of the presentation. You can rate us from a scale of 1 to 5, where 5 is the best. You can spread a word or share some love over the social media sites with the hashtag I love hashtag mobile device manager plus training. We have our next training scheduled for tomorrow, where we would go through device enrollment and device provisioning process. It would take place around the same time. And that's it, folks. Thank you and have a great day.